Blue Lock might be the best piece of fiction ever, as we see the gamble by Isagi playing out. And even after reading it, I'm still in shock. But to know more, you will have to wait. But trust me, there is a ton more stuff, so get ready. Alright, so starting off this chapter, also called Full Bet Part 2, here we see the ball coming, increasing closer to both Hugo and Isagi. And now if you remember from Part 1, then we know that Isagi has decided to bet this entire match on a single gamble against Hugo. We then see it getting dark around Isagi, as he starts to take in a really deep breath. He thinks that right now, it's a complete 50-50 gamble, one-on-one, continuing as he explains that if it's luck, then Hugo's so-called optimal destiny and talent and suitability, none of that even matters anymore. With that, we then see the ball once again bouncing on the ground and coming closer to them. After that, we leave the ball and instead head over to Isagi, who looks to be possessed by like 8 different demons, as he looks extremely mad. But his eyes are also burning up with an intense aura. He grinds his teeth and tells Hugo that to devour the number 1, he will bet everything on his own destiny and ego. Hugo's eyes get widened as he sees this, and he looks extremely lost, but also a bit amazed, as he then calls it insane, and finally realizes that this is the true Isagi. We then cut to some of the players' reactions as we have Shido, who is just a crackhead like always, as he is laughing a ton as he sees what is happening. Moving on from Shido, we then have Baru, who sighs and seems to be really annoyed that he doesn't get to be involved in the action. Lastly, it's Karasu, who might say the realest thing out of all of them, as he starts to genuinely look afraid while saying that Isagi sure is crazy, which I feel is something that can't be argued with. But just then, we see Hugo's eyes, and in them, he has his whole gear metavision thing, and he then says, "Alright." We then move into almost a new dimension. However, we obviously see both Hugo and Isagi, but they have a ton of puzzle pieces just spinning around them and almost absorbing them. Now here it's a bit confusing, as it says that Isagi is saying it, but from the context, I really feel like it's Hugo, so I'm going to say it as it's Hugo. Anyway, Hugo, who is still behind Isagi and is watching him like a hawk, says that paying respect to Isagi's rebellion, he is going to accept his luck battle, explaining that reacting only after he traps the ball is way too late. We then see Hugo himself getting filled with an insane aura as he continues and tells himself that reading Isagi's moves and cheap tricks like that, none of that will actually work. The only thing that can save him now is betting right on whether it's going to be right or left, which, yeah, is an insane gamble when you're on the last line of defense. But Hugo looks at Isagi and then tells us that it's a complete luck gamble. With that, we see the huge luck puzzle piece hitting the ground. After that, Isagi enters his white state mode as he starts to look wild. Meanwhile, Hugo just has his gear fully out, but we then get to Isagi's foot, which is right now coming in contact with the ball. But then to our insane shock, we actually see Isagi completely obliterating and just straight up embarrassing Hugo to the max, as we see Hugo going to the right and putting his foot in front of him. But sadly for him, we then see Isagi, who sent the ball to his left, and he looks extremely ecstatic as he is starting to turn around. After that, Hugo obviously looks over at Isagi, but his eyes turn blank and get filled with despair, as he has finally realized that Isagi went left, which in turn meant that Hugo missed. After that, we spot Isagi doing one of the nastiest spins ever with the ball, as he really is in the zone. Isagi looks filled with confidence, and just has that cocky aura that he can have, you know? Anyway, he tells Isagi that he won, and that he lost, continuing as he tells Hugo to just bow down to his luck, and I can't even begin to imagine how much disrespect Hugo is currently feeling. We then once again cut to Hugo, who looks crushed as he starts to wonder if his destiny was really to lose here and get utterly destroyed by Isagi. But just then, as that happens, we see a Rin who comes with his entire rage aura. Like, I really mean it. Think back to how he was in the PXG game, and that is precisely how he is looking right now. Rin even has his entire tongue out and going right and left in the air, which means that he is extremely locked in and fully in the zone. Anyway, we see Rin as he is just running straight towards Isagi. We then get a close-up to Rin's face, and he looks filled with rage. He tells Isagi not to let himself think that he is going to let him escape, telling him to not think that he can just throw him aside and walk away scot-free. Isagi then just looks to his side and sees this manic Rin coming, and is just in pure amazement as he questions why in the world he is here right now. But Rin, however, isn't backing down, as it's actually more of the opposite as he starts to get his entire predator eyes out, and tells Isagi that he is going to completely crush him. Isagi, however, isn't going to take this disrespect, as he tells Rin to just be silent and calls him a damn freak, which is honestly so valid because in the previous panel, Rin really looked like an entire freak. After that, however, we see the most insane but also the most beautiful thing ever, as we see Rin and Isagi at the same time saying that this is their goal, which, well, obviously belongs to them, and not the other. But with that said, we see both of them seemingly striking the ball at the exact same time, and they then send it off toward the goalkeeper. Like guys, can you hear that because I'm completely mind blown? Both Rin and Isagi strike the ball at the same time, creating an insane double shot, and I'm just throwing this out. But if Renoir saves this goal, then I will no joke just punch an entire hole through, not my monitor, but also my computer. Anyway, I forgot to tell you guys the ending text, but it says destiny has drawn them together. The ultimate arch rivals of Blue Lock, into whose hands will the final goal fall? Also, while on the topic, the next chapter will be called Destiny, and I feel like this is pretty straightforward, as it will be destiny that decides whether it's Rin or Isagi who gets the final goal. But I will go a bit more in depth into that in a little bit. But first I will announce that there seems to be no break next week, which is honestly wild. I know that we just had half a chapter, so I have seen some people being mad, but you have to realize that the author was sick and still managed to get out half a chapter. I don't know what more I can say than that he seems to be a real goat for working so hard for us. Anyway, now let's talk about this chapter. Here, I'll be honest. Even if you gave me like an entire year to think about the story for this singular chapter, then I doubt that I would be able to think off this because this was so peak. Let's start off with Isagi having balls of steel as he felt like in the last minutes of the game, and with them losing, he was just going to bet it all on purely luck on Hugo, out of all people. Now it would be super cool, even if he lost that luck battle, but the fact that he actually managed to win it and go the opposite way of what Hugo did was so sick. Like Isagi has my respect forever because of that. But then when you finally thought that Isagi had a free way to the goal and was going to finally get to score his goal simply by just sending a shot, it then out of nowhere gets turned completely upside down. As now out of nowhere, we have Rin coming at full force against him, looking absolutely possessed and filled with an insane aura as he is rushing to Isagi, like he is almost hunting for Isagi like Baru did in the U20 match. Here I'll be honest, but seeing Sei's reaction after this match would just make it complete, because seeing him react to firstly Rin doing this and just being a crackhead, but then Isagi betting it all on luck and coming out winning against Hugo. This has to have gotten him fired up a little bit at least. If not, then I don't know what more it is that Sei wants from the Blue Lock players, because I don't think they can achieve anything more insane than to most likely get an even score against the most favored team to win this entire U20 World Cup. Now I'm sorry if you guys don't like to hear me glaze as much as I am, as I can understand if it gets tiring, but I'm just so over the moon and in complete shock right now. Isagi versus Hugo was already insane enough, but now that they decided to throw Rin into the mix, everything just became 10 times better, as I can't wait to see what happens next. Now here I want to talk about who will get the goal, but honestly I have no idea. Personally, I feel like it would be better if Rin managed to score here. I don't know if that will make Isagi feel like as if he is under Rin or not, but we have seen Isagi having some trouble with being number one of the team, and because of that, if Rin could score here and then take that spot, I feel like that would put off a bit of the burden on Isagi and make him become a lot more free, and coming in with a ton of vengeance in the England game to try and steal one of Rin's goals. But anyway, that is how I feel about the goal. But after a chapter like this, I just have to ask you guys to leave your prediction down below, as I am dying to hear about what you guys felt about this chapter, but also who you think is going to get the goal. Anyway, if you like Blue Lock and videos like this, then I would highly suggest you subscribe to this channel, and while you are at it, leave a comment and a like. Also, if you can, hype the video down below, as it helps out with the algorithm a ton. And if you are curious to see another video of mine, then please watch the video that will be popping up on the screen now. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.